Homosexuality was removed from the DSM in 1980, so therefore it is not considered a mental illness. In fact, it's considered a normal variation of human sexuality, and it is not a pathological disorder. The only time homosexuality is considered a mental illness is when it is ego-dystonic. That means that the homosexual individual feels unhappy about the fact that they're homosexual, therefore it is considered a mental illness in that respect. Now, of course, most homosexuals do report feeling same-sex attraction since early on. Freud did consider that this was an arrested stage of the psychosexual development. No one knows for sure what causes homosexuality. However, all of the recent studies indicate that it could be genetic in origin. Since it is genetic, it would make sense that you would find greater incidence among monozygotics than among dizygotic twins. As far as differences between homosexuals and heterosexuals, homosexuals do not have greater incidence of mental illness. Homosexuals do not have different practices as far as the sexual activities compared to the heterosexual relationships. However, male-male relationships tend to be less stable and less socially acceptable than the female-female relationships. And one of the reasons, or the theories being, that men tend to be slightly more sexually promiscuous. Therefore, their relationships might tend to be more unstable. Sometimes adolescents engage in certain activities which do not necessarily mean that they are homosexual. These are all part of the experimentation phases of their development of sexuality. For example, comparing the size of each other's genitalia, mutual masturbation, group exhibitionism, or even kissing and holding hands doesn't necessarily mean that your child or the child in question on the exam is homosexual. So usually when you get questions asking about these situations and normal is part of the answers, that's usually the correct answer, because it is considered normal for children to experiment.